you've anticipated my third question today, and that is the talk of the idea that by going through something very difficult, by struggling through something, by coming out the other side, like you said, your life can take on a new purpose, a new meaning in what you do. How has that? How can people get hold of that? It's not just some sort of transcendent type thing.
No.
Is it a real practical, down to earth life thing?
It's a real practical, down to earth life thing, and that we need people who've been through it to mentor us and come alongside us. I'll tell you that. And if you've been through a lot of them, well, you can probably carry a lot more of it yourself. But we always need other people. There's been some very good books out. One by the Marstons, book called Transformative Resilience, talks about it. This fellow, Bruce Feller, talks about it. He talks about what can come out of it, and he calls it the new beginnings, that we do reach that point where after you've gone through this, and the Marstons talk about it, and we've been talking about it for years, there's good things that begin to happen that you never would have come to if you didn't go through the messy middle part, that you didn't go through the struggles and pain and crisis. You never would have come to these better places, the new beginnings. There's a new identity. You're a better person from it. Were the messy parts messy? Well, I know in my life they were very messy and difficult. And yet it's part of my story now. You know, I look back on it and I can talk more objectively about some things that would scare the heck out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I came through it, and for the better. You know, I wound up going back to school and getting my advanced degrees. I didn't even get my undergraduate. I had to come to that. But I had to go through these terrible times of being stripped and know I had to get on my feet. And the new beginnings were going to happen in California, and educationally and career-wise. I was younger, and I wouldn't say it was easy at all. And there were a lot of personal crises in the midst of all of that, and yet so much good has come out of that. So I can see in some ways that through those difficulties that I've overcome and things that I wouldn't ask for, where my idea of what good could happen is blown apart, not by choice, just that's life. You know, when you overcome them, you almost become the hero in your own story.
Because, you mentioned that before.
You do.
Yeah.
Because you've overcome, and you can look back on it, well, that's not me anymore. I'm more than that, but that is part of who I am. And what have I gained from it? Look at the strength and the values and the purpose and the meaning of all that. It becomes spiritual too. Not necessarily religious, but there's a spiritual comprehension that begins to come through all of that. That there's something bigger.
That's very intimately connected. The spiritual side of life very much is connected with meaning and purpose in your life. For people who react negatively to religion, and we're not talking about religion.
We're not talking about religion necessarily for some.
Almost anyone can relate to what gives your life meaning, and that is spiritual.
Yeah, spiritual always comes out of crises, not necessarily religiously so. But I'll tell you this, it's an awakening. And it's an important one because it's one thing you realize is we don't have the control that we think we do or that we profess or the strongman type like me thinks I have. I still go there. But it doesn't work. There's some other power bigger than all of us. There's a calling. There's a design on our lives. Sometimes that we just have to take the first steps and engage with it. But I don't think we're always calling the shots on the design. I really don't. I think there's a spiritual element that's much stronger. Now for me, it's a relationship with God. And that has come through incredible stripping and crisis. And each one I go through it confirms it, reiterates it. Do I doubt at times? Do I have questions? Am I angry and frustrated at the outcome? Oh yeah. Is my heart breaking? Yeah. And yet something deeper in me tells me there's good in all of this. There's good that's going to come out of this, no matter what my emotional state is now, bitterness, anger, pain, have all of that. But can something good come out of it? It always does. As long as I clear out and decompress the emotions.
We're back to how important that is.
Yeah.
Yes, it